a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC Worldwide and Jib Jab greetings. I'm Bud Lowell, and your full AccuWeather forecast is right up on top here on your CNC news page, right up at the top of the page. New York State's top environmental official says the state's own health department will judge the potential health impacts of gas well hydrofracking in the southern tier, not some independent body. State Department of Environmental Conservation Commissioner Joe Martins says Health Commissioner Nirav Shah has agreed to assess the DEC's own health impact analysis. Martins says he's asked Dr. Shah to identify the most qualified outside experts to advise him. While the review will be informed by outside perspectives about hydrofracking, the decision-making will remain with government. The DEC has been working since 2008 on whether high-volume hydraulic fracturing should be allowed in New York and what the rules should be if it is. No time limit has been set on Dr. Shah's review, but it's not likely to be done in weeks. Commissioner Martins says his staff has already reviewed about 80,000 comments from groups and individuals pro and con, many focused on the potential public health impacts of pumping hydrofracking chemicals into the ground. This process pumps large volume of water, sand, and chemicals into a gas well to fracture deep layers of shale that hold the natural gas and allowing the gas to flow out of the well. Concerns about this include possible health effects if those compounds get into drinking water. Commissioner Martins says he has had numerous conversations with many parties on all sides of this issue and finds many aren't satisfied with the DEC's own effort to address the public health impacts. Several groups wanted an outside health study to determine the final decision, but Martins says it is government's job to represent the public and make sure the hydrofracking review is objective and without bias. He also says experts in the field have opinions, pro and con, that could influence the project decision, and he believes some of the experts and groups that want to be involved will be the ones suing the state if they get an outcome they don't like. Finally, Martins says he wants to make sure the hydrofracking review is as thorough as possible so it's legally defensible when the inevitable lawsuits are filed by one side or the other. A coalition of landowners that wants to sign gas exploration leases on their properties called this announcement good news. The Natural Resources Defense Council, one of the groups that met with the DEC earlier this month, said it's not what they were hoping for but could be a valuable review. And New Yorkers Against Hydrofracking, which held a large-scale demonstration in Albany last month, continues to call on Governor Cuomo to order a comprehensive health impact assessment by an independent team of public health experts. Voters in the Brockport Central School District have approved their capital spending plan to repair and upgrade school buildings by a margin of 2-1. The $19.5 million plan is intended to meet a list of deferred maintenance issues and other work identified earlier this year by a committee of parents and district staff in Brockport. Superintendent Leslie Myers issued a statement thanking voters who came out Thursday, saying she's pleased that the Excel Maintenance Capital Project passed with 422 votes for and 213 against, and that enables the district to move forward. The work is expected to begin in 2013. Most of this is going into basic building repairs, replacing roofs, worn-out plumbing, heating systems, and electrical work. 2 Rochester teenagers and a Wayne County man joined 16 other people honored this week with the Carnegie Medal for Heroism. The award went to Christopher Patino of Rochester and Mustafa Saeed of Henrietta, who intervened to save the life of 17-year-old Nicole Bean when she was being attacked inside the Calkins Road Wegmans. This incident happened in January of 2011 when Bean's boyfriend pulled a knife and began stabbing her repeatedly in the store. Patino and Saeed, they were 16 and 19 at the time, rushed the assailant, wrestled him down, disarmed him, and with the help of a third shopper, secured him. Both teens were slashed by the knife, and Saeed had to be hospitalized overnight. And Matthew Scribner of Palmyra was honored for saving a man from drowning in a creek in April of 2011. Kurt Deisinger and his brother were kayaking down the creek when Deisinger's kayak got caught in roiling water at the base of an Erie Canal dam. He was rolled over, thrown into the water. His brother tried to help him, and he was also tossed into the creek, which was heavy with spring runoff. The 24-year-old Scribner and three of his friends saw this happen from the bank. Scribner jumped in and, despite the cold and the strong current in the creek, was able to tow Dysinger to the bank. Then he helped his friends pull Dysinger's brother out onto the land, and all three men who had been in the water had to be treated for hypothermia. The Carnegie Medal has been presented since 1904 to citizens of the U.S. and Canada who risk their lives to an extraordinary degree while saving or attempting to save the lives of others, to quote from the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission's website. The Ontario County Sheriff's Office has identified the second victim of Wednesday's fatal car crash as 34-year-old Adolfo Resendiz. He was the passenger in a car driven by Patsy Garcia that collided head-on with a pickup truck pulling a horse trailer. This was on Route 21 in the town of Canandaigua Wednesday afternoon. Both people were tossed out of the car and killed when Garcia's car crossed the center line and went into the truck. The truck driver suffered only minor injuries, and deputies are still trying to determine what caused Garcia's car to veer across the road. Elsewhere on this page, you'll find links to these and other stories, and in that gray bar at the bottom of the CNC news pages, you can find links for you to use. Post us stories you've written, ideas, tips, things you think ought to be checked out, news that you've heard, and we've also got room for business announcements, wedding announcements, birth announcements, all that sort of thing, sports stories from your kids' school, whatever you want to. We'd like to know about it because this is a community-based news reporting service, and if it's news to you, well, that makes it news to us. Okay, next news as it happens, updates when necessary. And I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.